Hi Year 5, I hope you enjoyed chapter 6 of Miss Dudley yesterday. So we're on chapter 7, it's called Rapunzel's Tower. Now remember, a few more of you are on Google Classroom, but if you're still not, can you make sure that you get on? If you're having difficulties with it, get your parents to send me an email. I'll help as best I can, okay? And continue doing the fabulous work that all of you are doing. It's absolutely amazing. Me and Miss Dudley are so proud. So, let's carry on with our story. So, chapter 7 is called Rapunzel's Tower. The twins had been running for almost an hour straight, and they were starting to feel it. Their adrenaline was slowly running out, and the pains in their sides were increasing with every step they took. But since something dangerous seemed to happen every time they stopped moving, they were motivated to keep going. After all, this running, PE testing should be a breeze, Connor said through heavy wheezes. We're almost there, Alex said unconvincingly. Just a little further. The forest had changed as they ran through it. The trees weren't so thick, and there was more space and grass between them. More sunlight fell through the branches, so nothing was in the dark. The path became wider too, and much more visible. The twins didn't feel as threatened by their surroundings. The forest almost grew friendlier the closer they travelled to the Corner Kingdom. Connor collapsed to the ground. He was breathing harder than a fish out of water. I can't run any more. I can't take another step, he said with his limbs spread out as if he were making a snow angel in the dirt. We can't stop moving until we get into the Corner Kingdom, Alex reminded him through her own heavy breathing. I think we're there, Connor said. How do you know? Alex asked. That's how, Connor said and pointed upward. In the distance, a tall tower was visible above the treetops. It was circular and made of square stones. There was a single window near the top, just below the pointed roof made of hay. It was partially covered in thick vines of ivy. Alex gasped and clutched her hands together. It's Rapunzel's tower, Alex said, and her eyes became a little misty at the sight of it. Are you seriously crying? Said Connor, who was still on the ground. It's just how I imagined it, Alex said. Get up, we're getting a closer look. Alex yanked on her brother's arm until he climbed to his feet, and the twins walked through the trees until they came to the base of the tower. It was even taller than it looked, a few hundred feet tall at least. The twins' necks began to ache after looking up at the tower for a little while. A large golden plaque was displayed in the ground in front of it that said, Queen Rapunzel's Tower. It must have been so hard for her, Alex said, seeing people and places so far away and never being able to visit them. At least she never had to worry about burglars, Connor said. I've got to go up there, Alex said. Do you have a jetpack or a grappling hook that I'm unaware of? Connor asked her. No, I'll have to just climb it, Alex said, surprising herself with the declaration. You have officially lost your mind, Connor said. We've almost been killed twice, and we haven't even had a full day here yet. We need to stop fooling around and find a way home, Alex. What part of that don't you understand? Look, Alex said. I'm going to climb up there for just a few minutes, and then as soon as I climb back down, we'll read the journal and find out what all the wishing spell items are. Okay? Alex, Connor began. His face was turning pink. Please, Connor, Alex said. I need to do this, or I'll regret it forever. Connor shook his head with the frustration that only a sibling could cause. He wanted to lecture her about how childish she was acting, but the way she was looking at him, with her big wanting eyes, prevented him. It was so rare that Alex ever needed something. He supposed one last stop couldn't hurt. Don't kill yourself, Connor said. But while you're up there, I'm going to start reading the journal and make a list of the wishing spell items we need to find. Alex happily nodded and put her bag on the ground. She stretched for the climb she was about to make. Connor sat on the ground and began flipping through the pages of the journal. Climbing the tower was easier said than done. After searching around the base of the tower for a place to put her first step, Alex could tell why a long train of golden hair might be needed to get to the top of it. Eventually, she found a stone block with a chip large enough to put her foot in it and take her first step. "Here I go," Alex said. "Gosh, I wish I had a camera." "Trust me," Connor said. "The real Alex I know isn't going to want proof of this." It was like climbing the world's most difficult rock climbing wall. She relied on the cracks and chips and uneven bricks sticking out just enough to put her hands and feet on. She moved slowly but carefully. If she were any larger, it wouldn't have worked. "You're still at the bottom," Connor said, looking up from the journal after a few minutes. "Shut up, Connor," Alex yelled back at him. "I'm just saying, at the rate you're going, Mum's going to be 80 by the time we get home, whether there's a time difference or not," he said. After some time had gone by and she had gotten the hang of it, Alex moved more quickly, carefully pulling herself up using the ivy. The higher she climbed, the less she looked at the ground, fearing it would tamper with her effort to reach the top. She was so determined to see the top of the tower, to be in the room where Rapunzel had lived and see what Rapunzel had seen through her window every day. She wanted to be where somebody else had been during the loneliest times of their life. Rapunzel's story had always been easy for Alex to identify with. Alex felt she was in a tower of her own, looking at the world from an unreachable location. She was almost halfway up the tower by now, and she was above all the trees in the forest. Any tiny misstep would no longer result in potential injury, it would mean death. "There's a reason the witch put Rapunzel up there, Connor called up to her, so no one could reach her." "I'm not listening to you," Alex said, and then, stupidly, looked down. Beads of sweat appeared on Alex's forehead. She felt like her heart had fallen out of her body. What was she doing? There was no way she could climb back down. Was she really risking her life just to see the inside of a tower? If she ever reached the top, would she be able to get back down? Would she have to wait until her hair grew long enough to climb before she saw anyone again? What would Connor do if she got stuck up there? Would he try to find the fairy tale world equivalent of a fire department with a ladder long enough to get her down? Or would he find the wishing spell items on his own and go home without her? The more Alex worried, the more she climbed. She knew it wouldn't be productive to worry and stay still, so she just kept going. It felt like hours had gone by. She looked up. She was only a few feet away from the window. Just a few more feet and she'd be there. Finally, she felt the windowsill with her hands and slowly pulled herself up to it. Then, through it. She was almost through the window. Alex swung her legs over the window and into the tower. Thank God, she said to herself. She might be stuck in the tower, but at least she was safe. Alex looked around the tower. It wasn't at all what she had expected. It was a large circular room with no furniture or decoration of any kind. In fact, it was completely empty, except for some hay and bird droppings littered around the floor. "Hi, Alex," said a voice inside the tower. Alex jumped and screamed. She was completely shocked to see Connor sitting up against the tower wall just a few feet away from her. "It took you long enough to get up here," he said with a laugh. He was eating an apple and he had the journal on his lap. "How in the world did you get up here?" Alex demanded. She was still out of breath from her climb. "I took the stairs," Connor said with a mocking grin. "I was reading the journal. It says after Rapunzel became queen, she installed a staircase in her tower so she could come back and visit whenever she wanted. The door to the staircase was on the other side of the tower. We just didn't see it." "Oh," Alex said sheepishly. "That would make sense." Apparently, since Rapunzel was the only known ward of the witch, when the witch died, Rapunzel inherited all the land from her, and that's how she became queen, Connor informed her. "But you would have known that if you had read the journal. It's full of fun facts and helpful hints on how to get inside difficult places." "I suppose," Alex said and straightened her headband. She wasn't going to let this ruin the accomplishment she had felt after climbing the tower. She turned to look out Rapunzel's window. The tower was surrounded by a sea of trees, far off into the distance. Alex could barely see the rooftops of a tiny village. Beyond the village was a large mountain range that rolled across the horizon. Now this was exactly what Alex had expected. "It's quite a view, isn't it?" Connor asked. "Yes," Alex said, almost in a whisper. "It's breathtaking. I just wish we could see it all, everything in the land of stories. But I did a lot of thinking on my way up here, and I know we have to get home. That's what we need to focus on." "About that," Connor said, "you really need to read this, Alex. I've only skipped through a little bit of it. Most of it's hard to read because it's written by hand. But the situation is much more serious than we thought." He handed her the journal. Alex sat next to him and opened it to the very first page and began reading. And I'm going to pause it there, Year 5. Okay. We're still about halfway through chapter 7. Okay. But I will carry on reading this tomorrow. I'm really interested to find out what the difficulty is. Think about it. What do you think maybe is going to be the problem? Why has Connor said, "Alex, you need to look at this. There's a really big issue." And you can see really quickly, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. There's some long letter or extract that has been put in the journal. So we'll catch up with that tomorrow, okay? And I will speak to you then, okay? Remember, any difficulties with the Google Classroom, please let me know. I'll post the link to this on Google Classroom. So if you are watching all of these videos, let me know on the Google Classroom comments. It'll be really great to see who's watching these videos, okay? Bye.